At this year's Unreal Fest held in Chicago, I was fortunate enough to host a lab about using editor utilities. In this example, I'll be using them to save data, then use that data in the editor to help create points for something like nav links. So we'll begin by creating a save game blueprint. So inside of your content browser, you'll want to go to something like blueprint classes, make a new one, go down to the all classes and search for save game. We'll want to make a child of the save game blueprint. So we'll open it up, we'll save it, open it up. I like to call it something like BP just save game. Nothing too crazy. And we'll add just a couple of variables in here to save. Let's make sure that they're vectors. We'll call them let's say start points. And of course, endpoints. Right, so that's kind of it for the save game. Then we'll move on to creating another blueprint, which will be the nav link. So we'll select the nav link proxy. We can name it, I've named it like a BP Superlink. We can open that up and we'll start adding some logic to it. So I'm looking for the smart link reached event. This wasn't the correct one for my example. I'll actually be calling the event. And what we'll want to do is cast a character, get a projectile velocity custom arc, and then just launch the character. This is a very simple kind of a hack to get the character to just jump across a gap. Yeah, we're just literally launching the character between two valid points. Again, just making sure our start position and end position are valid. We want the arc to be about 0.5, so that just means like a nice medium arc. The start position will be the nav agent's location, so we'll want to make sure there's nav in the level. And again, we'll use this suggested projectile velocity to calculate the launch. So next, I'll make what I like to call a link recorder. It'll be an actor component that we'll add. Yeah, this is currently conflicting with my completed version, so I just changed the name to link recorder in this example. Or link record, I believe. Yeah. So we'll open that up. We'll add a few variables to it. We want to make sure we have a vector array for nav location start, a vector array for nav location end, and then a bool for to keep track if we are recording the landing or not, and then a function that will actually set the link locations. And under that function, we'll make sure we have a start location and end location. So one thing that I need to do is these actually have to be vector arrays. So I'm quickly just going to change them to that, because we'll be collecting a series of vectors. So we'll just drag off that variable and add. Grab the end location as well. And that should be it for the function. Back in the event graph, we'll start adding some of our logic. First, we'll check for save game. Now, we'll want to set up some of this save logic just to make sure that the save game is created or does exist. We'll give it a name, something like record for the slot, just so we know that it's just used for this, because this is using Unreal's save system. Now we'll branch of some logic here as well, just to make sure that if we don't have a save game, one is created, or if we do, we're good, a save exists. So again, if it doesn't exist, we'll create a save game, and we will use the save game class that we created. Once it's created, let's also save it just to make sure that it works. the basic save stuff in, we'll want to add some kind of debug visualization to kind of let us know that we're recording jump points and landing points. So I like to use the draw debug sphere for something like that. The record landing bool is it's just a variable that gets set in here, whether tick should be going to visualize a lot of this debug stuff. And we'll really just want to we'll put in some logic in a little bit to just toggle the ticking of this logic. But we'll just get the owner of the component, get their location, and that's where we'll spawn our kind of big red record sphere. Big and red. Just making a comment to just remind myself that this is only released for visual debug. So inside of the class defaults, I just set it to the tick to not be enabled by default, because again, we will want to control that ourselves. Right now, we are going to add this key input bound to R on the keyboard. That'll toggle our recording. So as you can see, I'm getting our record landing variable, just getting the opposite of what it is, and setting that to itself whenever it's pressed. So that'll just give us a quick toggle for that bool. And then we'll just set the tick component by a button press. To make another input, I just like to copy one of them. You can hit the little keyboard button, and then if you press on the keyboard, it'll make you a new one. Here I'm also adding the control modifier, so it'll be Control S. This will be the logic to save our recorded points. So again, getting our game save. Getting it so we can set the points. One thing I noticed kind of late right now is I got to go back into the save and make sure that they're an array as opposed to just a single point. So just quickly fixing that. Over there on the right, I can go from a single variable to an array, and same thing for the endpoints. So now I can make sure that we transfer our newly recorded points into the save file. Just kind of connecting up the logic for communication. I also want to delete the ones that are kind of being held in the recorder once it's saved. So here I loaded up the save. I modified the nav points that are in there, setting these new ones, and saving it. All right, so we have our save logic, we have our recording, debug logic, and our saving the points logic. This is a copy of the third-person character from the third-person template. So let me just get rid of that component because we'll re-add it. As you can see, it's all the same kinds of controls. Movement, look, jump, nothing crazy. We'll make sure that our game mode pawn is set to our character and I can control him, move around. So let's start by adding some of the logic. We'll add the recorder component that we made. We'll add a couple events that we want to look for, the landed event and the jumped event. Drag our link recorder variable. We'll do a check to see if it's recording. Just to kind of make sure that we're only capturing the vectors data when we want them to be captured. Add a couple variables, again, vectors. These will be single vectors. First one will be start location, start lock. And we'll just duplicate this one and add end location, end lock. Now the location we'll be using is the player's current point on the nav mesh. So we'll use the get nav agent location to get that, since we are inside of the player pawn already. So we'll make sure that on the jump, on landed, we're setting the end location. But initially it's closed. So we want to make sure that the thing that allows this to go through is that a jump has been started. So we'll just copy the branch again, check against that record landing bool, and we'll have the jump actually open or restart our gate, which I'm using the do once as a gate for it. Grab our link record again, just so we could set the values in it. Looking for that function, the set link locations. Yeah, we'll just make sure our start lock and end lock are hooked up. Give it a quick test. I'm recording. There's my sphere. Jumping around. I believe they're saving, but we should add some more logic to visualize that. We'll go back into our link recorder and add some more visual debugging logic. We'll add to event tick over here. Just expand the comment window a little bit. Add a sequence node, just so I can do two things in parallel. I want to get our points. And I want to make sure that we have points recorded. So I'll just make sure that the length is greater than 0. Use a branch to check that. Want to go through each vector. And we'll draw an arrow from one point to the other. All right, so first we'll get our start point. And we'll use the same array index on the nav location end to get our endpoint. Just increase the size to something like 200 so we can see it. Make it a nice vibrant green. And just give it a little bit of thickness. Set it's 2. Okay. And now, let's see what we're recording. If I make this leap, then make that leap. Nice. Drawing some points. Now I stop recording again, just so I can continue from there. I have some nice lines there. Some good stuff to work with. Okay, so now, since we have some data and we're visualizing it, we should try to get it into the world using an actor action utility. Right now I don't have anything here. If I right click, so we'll have to create a new one. We'll want to right click and create a new blueprint. New blueprint class, and what we'll want to look for is actor action, and it'll be the actor action utility. Let's rename it to something we know. I'll call this one save to nav. So right now, if we add a function to this, it will add that right-click option inside of the editor. So I'll add a new function. Call it load links from save. Add a variable to our blueprint link, nav link that we made. It's the BP superlink. I'll rename it to new links. Also a float for jump height. This will help us with some logic in determining whether the links should be one way or bidirectional, or both ways. Give it a value of 100 by default. So we'll want to load game from slot. Again, our slot name is record. We'll want to cast to the BP save game that we made that has our saved values inside of it. We'll want to get those. We'll start with start points. We'll also get the endpoints. Do a for each loop. We'll use the loops index just to also get the endpoint at the same time. And we'll use the spawn actor from class to bring our BP superlinks in. So to figure out kind of where to put them, we have the start location and end location of each one. And I like to use something like the vector lerp that, if you set it to 0.5, it just kind of gives you the middle of both of them. So we can plug both of those into our vector lerp, set the alpha to 0.5, and we'll get the middle. And that's a good place to kind of put it. But then we also we'll want to raise it a little bit. So I'll just add 100 on the z-axis. We'll also want to get the correct rotation, just so we know where the start and end point kind of is, and to make sure that they're facing the correct way. I like to use the find look at rotation. And again, we'll kind of get the rotation from the saved start point to the saved endpoint. And all we really need is the yaw for this one. So for our new links, I actually, again, I did the mistake of not making it an array. So I'll go in there, make sure it's an array. And then for each one that gets created by this utility, it'll be added to our array. Next, we'll drag off from the return value of each spawned navlink, and we'll want to get the point links. This is so we can set the position of each start and end point of the navlink. Or I guess left and right point, they're called here. So we'll get the set members. We'll have to expose some of the values. So I'll just, in the details, I'll make sure to reveal some of those pins. Left, right, and direction. And to get the values for those pins, we'll go back to the location of our nav link. Since we are adding 100 to it, we'll want to subtract 100 for the to drop down the points. And then since we want to the offsets to be local, we'll want to figure out some of that math. So we'll take the location where it's at. So for the left one, we'll actually get the landing spot. So that'll be our left. And then we also want to make sure that this has the correct rotation when we're setting it, that it's like local to the actor itself. So we will actually unrotate the vector. Split this, use the same yaw from before. And that should give us our left. Copy and paste this, get that same location for the actor, get the location of the start point, add the yaw. And if we plug those in right now, that should work. So let's give it a test. All right, go into record mode. Jump on this platform, jump on that platform, jump on this platform. Do Control S to save. Escape, and then let's see when we bring up our scripted actor actions. We'll select these, and it's looking great. Just make sure we make them valid. Copy the points. That's awesome. And then for the last check, we'll try to do the jump check. So we'll take our jump position, subtract the landing position. We really only need the height, so I'll just split this. Then we can check to see if it's within float range. We'll take our jump height. The max will be the actual jump height for the minimum, so it'll be like 100 up, and if we want 100 down, we can just easily multiply it by and we'll want to just do a select based on full. We'll say if it's true, it's both ways. If it's false, it's just left to right. So let's test this out. Jump over here, go into record mode, test the regular jump, test the height difference jump, control save, escape, right click, load links, and beautiful. We have bidirectional and we have left to right. And that's it. Thank you so much.